Hello children, welcome for today's biology class. So today we are going to continue the chapter Plant Kingdom. The topics going to be covered are pteridophytes and gymnosperms. Now let us go inside the chapter. So first let us study regarding pteridophytes. The pteridophytes, it includes horsetails and ferns. So these all are normally grown as ornamentals. These are the first terrestrial plants possessing the vascular tissues. Xylem, phloem differentiated tissues you can see in the case of pteridophytes. They are found in cool, damp and shady places. So when you go to hill station, so you can observe this type of ferns and all growing there. Some may flourish well in sandy soil condition also. So here the plant body, what you see in green color, that is sporophyte, and it is differentiated into root, stem and leaves. The leaves, they may be small or large. So small you call that as microphytes, when large you call that as megaphytes. In ferns you can see this megaphytes, and in the case of Selaginella you can see microphytes and all. So this is Pteris, Dreiopteris. So can you observe these all are spore producing structures. You can see below the leaf. This is upper side of the leaf. So when you see below the leaf, so you can observe lower side of the leaf, you can observe this type of spore bearing structures. Mature fern, you can observe the spore bearing structures. The sporophytes, they bear sporangia, what I have shown in the previous picture. And here, so they are mainly seen in leafy like this. Mainly the sporophytes, they have the leaf-like structure. Okay, so that it contain the sporophylls and all. In some cases, so they form compact structure that you call that as strobili or cones. In Selaginella, Equisetum and all, we can observe this type of cones and all. So here the sporangia, it produce spores by meiosis. So and it germinates to form small multicellular photosynthetic gametophyte that you call that as prothallus. Prothallus is gametophyte, so that will be heart-shaped structure. The prothallus, it requires cool, damp and shady places to grow. The prothallus, it bears both male and female sex organs. So male sex organs you call that as antheridia, and female you call that as archegonia. So here let us see the life cycle of fern. So it is sporophyte. It can produce the spores. Can you observe the sporangium? It produces the spores. So I shown you in the diagram, so below the leaf, lower side of the leaf, it shows the spore producing structures, and the spores, then later they grow into gametophyte. Okay, and the gametophyte, it contains archegonium and antheridium. So here can you see archegonium and antheridium, and archegonium, it produces the egg, and antheridium, it produces sperm. So on fertilization it forms zygote, and the zygote, it later develops into new sporophyte. Like that the life cycle continues. So this is sporophytic condition, and this is gametophytic condition. This one you call that as prothallus. So what I told only here explained. Antheridia, it forms anthrozoids, and archegonia, it forms egg, and later it fuse together forms zygote, and the zygote develops into sporophyte. So in majority of pteridophytes, the spores produced are similar. So that you call that as homosporous. So when they produce dissimilar, that you call that as heterosporous. Selaginella, Salvinia, it can be asked in one more question, children. So they produce heterosporous, micro and megaspores are produced. Okay, so here mainly in the case of this one, the megaspores and microspore formation, so it is the precursor of seed habitat, and it is the important step in evolution, because both together they form zygote, and later they develop into this plants and all plant-like structure. So that's why this is the precursor for seed habitat. The classification of pteridophytes. It can be classified into Coelopsida, Lycopsida, Sphenopsida and Pteropsida. Okay, these all are examples given, children. So it can be asked in one more questions. You can remember. For Lycopsida, Selaginella and Lycopodium, and Sphenopsida you get Equisetum, and for Pteropsida, Dreiopteris, Pteris and Ediantum. are coming under this category. So try to remember the example along with the classification. So the uses of pteridophytes. They can be used for medicinal purposes and they are the good soil binders. It prevents erosion and can be used as ornamental plants. You must have seen in preparation of bouquets and all. There you can see the fern leaves they use for the preparation of bouquets because the leaves will be beautiful. That's why it is used like that. This is Salvinia, Selaginella, Adiantum. Next, let us study regarding gymnosperms. So, gymnosperms are the plants in which ovules are not enclosed by ovary wall and they remain exposed. So, these plants are having naked seeds. Okay. So, here it includes medium-sized trees and tall trees and shrubs also there. Sequoia, that is the redwood tree, is one of the tallest tree species. The roots, they contain taproot system. The roots of some genera, they show the fungal association. We studied mycorrhiza, and some of them, they show coralloid roots. For in the case of cycas, we can observe. And what is the purpose of that? It is helpful in nitrogen fixing. So that's why the nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria, it is there. That's why. So nitrogen fixing occurs here. And the stems are unbranched in cycas, or it can be branched. Pinus and all, cedrus and all, they show this type of branched stem. And the leaves, it may be simple or compound, and they are well adapted to withstand extreme temperatures, humidity, wind and all, withstand by this. Mainly the coniferous forests, they contain this type of gymnosperms. They have needle-like leaves and the thick cuticle is there, and the sunken stomata, it is helpful to reduce water loss. Sunken stomata means the stomata is kept inside a small sac-like structure, bag-like structure. So it helps to reduce the water loss. Gymnosperms are heterosporous, means they can produce microspores and megaspores. And the spores are produced within sporangia, and the sporophylls are arranged in an axis to form cones, that you call that a strobili also. You can see in coniferous forest, you must have observed this type of cones. Male strobili and female strobili. Male strobili, it is the male cone, and female strobili is female cone. So male strobili, it bears microsporangia and it produces microspores, that you call that as pollen grains. So female strobili bears megasporangia and it forms megaspores or ovules. Okay, so female and male cone, that is, you can call that a strobili also. Either they can be seen in the same tree as in Pinus or in different trees in cycas. The ovules borne on megasporophylls can be clustered to form female cones, and the megaspore mother cell divides meiotically to form 4 megaspores. At the end of meiosis, normally 4 daughter cells are formed. The same way, 4 megaspores are formed here. One of the megaspores enclosed within the megasporangium develops into a multicellular female gametophyte that bears 2 or more archegonia. The multicellular female gametophyte is also retained within the megasporangium. Okay, megasporangium. So it can, the multicellular female gametophyte, it is retained within the megasporangium. Here the pollen grains released from microsporangium are carried by means of air current, and it contact with the means when the ovules, when they are having in contact, and it forms the pollen tube and it grows towards archegonia, and fertilization occurs and develops into zygote. And the zygote, it forms embryo, and the ovules, it develops into seeds. Okay, children. So the same way only as in higher plants they show. Only thing is here you cannot see the petals, sepals, flower-like structures and all. Only cones are there. Male cones, it produces pollen grain, and in the female cone we can see the ovules, and fertilization occurs in female cones, and the pollen grains are as the microspores, what you call, it is liberated from the male cone, and when it reaches the female, that is ovule, then it fuses with that and forms the zygote. And the zygote later, it forms an embryo and the ovules and develops into seeds. So this is cycas. This is Pinus, we must have observed. This is Jingo. All are photographs, children. Okay, so today we are concluding up to this. Today we learned regarding pteridophytes and gymnosperms. Okay, children. So today we are concluding up to this. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you.